Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama. Thank you for joining me for another episode. My guest this week is Ashley Lohr. She runs the Etsy shop, the Rosie Finn, and she's been at it for about a year. And I'm kind of excited because this is the first time I've had a guest in Alaska. I had a guest who lives in Alaska, but she was stuck in Europe at the time we spoke. So Ashley, you're really my first Alaskan guest in Alaska. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ijam. It's nice to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the Rosie Finn and what you make and sell?
Yes. So I'm Ashley Lohr, and I'm the creator and maker of the Rosie Finn, and it's enameled and handcrafted jewelry. And I live and work on a small island, a rainforest island in Alaska. And I've been making jewelry seriously since the winter of 2019, so a little over a year now. But one thing I want to point out is I am a painter. I've been a painter forever. Color is very, very important in my paintings, and it's spread into being important in my enamel work. Mm-hmm. So in addition to being a color artist, I'm actually also an art teacher. And then I'm a mother of two, and my husband is a fisherman, so he's gone quite a bit. So I kind of have this full, rich life going, and then I started adding in the jewelry making on top of it. So it's been very exciting.
Ashley, why did you decide, instead of selling your artwork on Etsy, to sell jewelry instead?
That's a tough question. So I'm a painter, and I actually forever, again, I've been painting. I have my master's in painting. I also have my BA in painting. I don't know. Packaging, probably. It's way easier to cart around and pack up some jewelry. I've always had a local show here in town. I'll back up a little bit. I live on a small island in Alaska. It's called Petersburg. It's just south of Juneau, and it's a rainforest area, so we get a lot of rain. But the community here is very supportive of the arts. So I've had an annual show here and I've lived here on this island for almost 13 years. And I've had, I believe, 12 solo shows, 11.
Wow.
11 solo shows here. And then I branched out and did a big show in 2015 at the Anchorage it's Anchorage State Museum. And that was a big deal for me. But I don't know, the packaging and I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, but the earrings definitely relate. There's a big correlation between the compositions and the aesthetic that's put into both the painting and the earrings. Okay. And then again, it's just way easier to ship some earrings out than paintings. Yeah. I did sell 2 paintings this year though, and that was kind of a big deal because usually it's kind of bleak for any paintings to kind of leave my storage spot. So I guess it can go that way. I'm new to Instagram, and I would label myself new to Etsy, even though I started a shop in 2017. It didn't go anywhere. So in 2020, in January 2020, so a year ago, I really got back in, and I was really excited about the jewelry that I was making. So I popped it up on there, and it's just way easier to sell jewelry than paintings. Sure. I guess that's really what it comes to, because you get one painting by an artist, and then suddenly, and my paintings aren't that small, by the way. So it's just easier to buy a pair of earrings and then maybe come back and buy another pair in a couple of months. So, and the rhythm of it is really nice. With painting, I'll spend up to a month to 2 months working on a painting. Wow. And then for earrings, I can, in a day, with a sitting in a day, an hour to 2 hours, have a pair done, have them photographed and up. It's just a quicker process.
Okay. And that makes sense, really.
Mm-hmm.
It does, because art, like you said, and I wasn't sure the size of the artwork, but when you said you have shows, automatically I figured they must be sizable to have shows, because then, so it just kind of makes sense why it wouldn't be as easy to sell on Etsy, or maybe just not as feasible, I should say. So you went to jewelry school in Berkeley. How did you decide on where you wanted to get your enameling education?
That's a really great question. And I'll back up a little bit. I'm the only art teacher on the island at the school. And then in that realm of art that I teach a lot of different focused classes. And one of them is silversmithing. So I actually earned my education in silversmithing when I was studying abroad in Florence, Italy in 2006. And I was 21 at the time. So that actually kind of got my foot in the door, because the program here at school, when I applied for the job back in 2008, that was one of the big points one of the big selling points for me, because the art teacher that was retiring built up this beautiful silversmith jewelry program for the high school. And I had a month of jewelry education in Florence, and I was working with silver. And anyway, so I continued from where the art teacher left off. I continued that program, and it ended up being, the budgets at school were a conversation a couple of years ago, and the art programs are definitely on the expensive side. So there was some discussion, and I had this willpower. I said, you can't drop this jewelry program. Like the art teacher before me put so much effort and energy and love into the program. I don't want to see it go. I'm going to figure this out. So I ended up it happened to be my rotation for curriculum review. And with that comes a chunk of money to kind of revamp your curriculum, whether that's professional development or supplies or both, or, doing a study of some sort. So I decided to focus on jewelry and try to figure out how to make that float without the school budget. Anyway, I've always been fascinated by enameling, love color. I love earrings, and I was very intrigued and wanted to learn more. And I got a hold of this wonderful jewelry school down in Berkeley, California, called Silvera Jewelry School. And Annette and Joe are just fantastic to talk to and set up. They're still running their classes. They're still running artist talks and critiques, even just all virtual. Okay. So I got a hold of Annette back in, I guess it was January of 2019. And we just we hit it off right away. And I said, all right, I want to know more about the enameling, because I'm going to be bringing it into my classroom. And she said, well, here's a supply list that you would need. And I already had 90% of those things in my classroom. So I said, okay, this is going to happen. So anyway, my love and my fascination and my obsession with enameling and earring making came from wanting my jewelry program to survive and branching out. So it turned out that the enameling process is less money than buying, sterling silver blanks galore. And then also they're for any level of jewelry student, it's definitely a great medium to start if you're interested in jewelry, because you can just enamel a solid color and then it's beautiful. It doesn't take 2-3 days. It could take one class period to get a pair of earrings done with a student with one solid color. And it's just all levels of students can take it and really succeed with it. So I saw that right away. And I noticed that could be something that we could be selling in town. So we ended up doing Oktoberfest here in town, which is a festival where people are selling handmade products, and people from different islands come to town and we sell. And so we pretty much found a way to support our own program, and it was beautiful. So, and I fell in love. That's basically, I was teaching it and I was so excited talking to the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm a painter. I love color. I love earrings. And I said, I'm investing in all this stuff and I'm bringing it to my shop and I'm going to focus on this. A painting is going to be happening for me, but I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing jewelry.
Yeah.
So that.
Did you find that the kids in school really took to the enameling more than maybe other art forms?
The students that I did have, I'd say all of them took to it right away and they were just completely amazed by it. But I had 2-3 students, and that's big. I mean, we're a small town of 3,000 people, and the one class of students is 30 to 40 kids. So I had one class, like a senior class, so we have a small high school. So I have a small group of kids, and I had probably 3 kids that, boom, right off the bat, wanted to keep going with it on their own, come in after school, spend extra time. And I haven't seen that before with that kind of power behind it, like that kind of excitement. I haven't seen it like that before. So yeah, it definitely boosted some kids. And I still have a student from last year, and she's off to college, and she's, every once in a while I see her kind of come up on, on Facebook, social media, and she's got some enameling that she's been working on her own. So it's been really fun for me, but I see the light immediately light up in their eyes, and their energy and their desire kind of coming out, and it's infectious. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah. It must be very gratifying as a teacher to see your students really develop a I want to say affinity, but I also want to say a love or a passion for, something, and something that you're sharing with them because you enjoy it too.
Mm-hmm. And again, and if any advice to any art teachers out there that can be teaching jewelry, it is really any level student can pick it up and work with it. You could have a level 1, 2, 3. You can have advanced students and level 1 in the same room and working, with something basic or taking it to some more serious, like stencil work or just sgraffito work within the enameling process. It's really beautiful. Then all students are satisfied, like coming through. It's really fun to see the excitement. It's there.
Yeah.
I got it, and I caught it, and I'm at it.
I watched the video that you have on your Etsy page, in your Etsy shop, rather, where you're talking about your business and you're actually doing you're firing an earring at the same time. And
I'm good at multitasking.
Good for you. I know. I was like, wow, okay. No, it was intriguing to watch because I didn't know what the process was. And in my head, originally, I thought it was, it would involve like a kiln where you put it in to heat it, not an open flame.
They're both, Ijama, they're both. So enameling can be torch fired or kiln fired.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a preference?
I have a preference of torch for a couple of reasons. One, it's more budget friendly. Okay. 2, it's more intimate. Like you get to watch the phases the enamel goes through. You get to watch it. And I don't know. The kiln is, you put it in, it's like an oven, you put it in and a certain temperature, 1500 degrees, and you wait 3 minutes and it comes out. I don't think I'd be comfortable with that process of putting it in and pulling it out because it's I don't know. I just use tweezers instead of like this big long rod where I have to reach in with it and pull it out. It's a balancing act, and heat is blasting out, and I don't get that kind of intense heat from just using a butane torch. So Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, I have to say, because I mean,
It's mesmerizing.
it is
It's magical. The way I
burning things
describe
up.
it, yeah, yeah, playing with fire and watching things melt. I mean, everybody loves
Yes.
that, but then
Yeah.
like to see it go from like just grains of glass to a smooth, slick surface is within seconds.
Yeah.
Within seconds, it's very exciting.
Yep, that was cool to
Hmm.
watch. Do you
Thank you.
have you considered, or do you use that type of content in your social media as well?
The video, yeah.
Yeah.
I use it a lot in my stories, and then if so I'm on Instagram, I guess I should say that.
Okay.
The Rosie Finn is my handle.
Okay.
And then for I kind of created a pattern. Again, I'm still kind of new to this, but I kind of pick up tips from other people I'm following or other people that interest me. So I kind of have a pattern. Every 2 posts, I have jewelry, and the third post, every third post is a picture of Alaska or like my surroundings or something that's happening.
Yeah.
So I do jewelry, Alaska, jewelry, Alaska, just because I want to make sure that where I'm at, and like I want people to understand or to kind of get a feeling of where I'm at in the world, but also like I'm enameling, but there's so much beauty around me at the same time. Like it's breathtaking at times, and I like to share that somehow. And sometimes, there's snow or there's salmon berries or, whatever's happening this time of the year. So I like to kind of show that, but if I'm showing jewelry, usually I slide in like towards the end, I might put 3 pictures, and then the last one is a video of the process or part of the process. So the melting is, people always stop me and they say, "Oh, I love watching. You should have a YouTube video or YouTube show." And
right.
I don't know anything about that. I'm really take things slow, and I really pushed it by jumping on Instagram and Etsy, getting that running at the same time. That was a big push for me. I was totally anti anything social media. I mean, I always had a Facebook page because I have friends all around the country that want to catch up with my kids and see how they're growing and things like that. But I bit the bullet in 2019 on my birthday, December 21st. And I just said, jewelry's awesome. I'm having fun with it. My aunt, my mom's sister, who's super cool and amazing, and she really influenced a lot of the art kind of education in me throughout my youth. And she's like, "Ashley, Instagram, I'm hearing a lot about Instagram for artists. You should check it out." And I was like, "What? My aunt's telling me about Instagram. I guess I should try it out." I mean, the kids at school, the high school kids I work with, they talk about it, and I let it go over my head. I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
But I jumped on because the jewelry was really exciting, and my friends in the community were like, "I want to buy some for my girlfriend for her birthday, or my wife, or I want some and I want to buy some for my friend back in California." And I was like, "What is going on? I should jump
on Instagram."
No, that's why I jumped on Instagram, because
Okay.
my aunt was like, for your artwork, you should find a way to get on Instagram because people are selling on Instagram. And then my friends in town were excited about my jewelry, and I was like, maybe I should find a way to post pictures. And I know Instagram is all about pictures, and to kind of drive some traffic my way. With the Etsy, because the Etsy that I started in 2015 was completely, there was nothing was happening with that. So
what were you selling back then?
Oh, I was in the very mommy phase, and I had these monster face kind of illustrations that I wanted to put on onesies, and like they were kind of funny faces that were monster like, and I had this idea to be, someone with a design, and someone would pick me up and print them on their onesies, and then we would partner together. I had that idea. I was pregnant with my second child, and And I was like, oh, I'm going to need something to do while I'm on maternity leave for 3 months. And like, I really didn't have enough to do, but I tried. I was like, oh, I can do all these drawings and then turn them into designs that could be printed. Anyway, so that was how I launched an Etsy. Then it was, I mean, I didn't know what to do with it. It was like this new kind of beast. Like, do I check it? What do I do? I just let it get dusty and, slid to the side. And then when jewelry started and people were asking me, oh, I want to buy some. And I was like, what do I do with this? I don't know. And then, I've always kind of admired Etsy. I know it's handmade. I know it's, people, small businesses. I've always kind of like peeked at it and was curious about it and didn't know if it was something for me with my painting. But then with the jewelry, I thought, well, this seems like it would go hand in hand. So not that jewelry making is a small niche, it's very big, but I figured that was a place to kind of see where I could stand amongst other enamel jewelry artists. And I know it takes time. I'm still in the kind of birth stage of my business. So,
right. But still, even then, you're approaching 400 and it's only been within the last year that you've been doing this. So that's something. That's a big thing, actually. What do you think, or what were, obviously coming into it, you knew that you were coming into a niche that was, some people might say saturated. That's one way to think about it, that it's saturated. But again, handmade and, everybody's style being different and things being so individual or unique, there's only a certain amount of saturation you can have of your own product. So did you have any reservations about selling in a niche that there was, I wouldn't say saturated, I'll say there's competition, and not knowing what that competition was, because earrings is a very broad category and I might be looking for earrings in my head. I wouldn't say I'm looking for enamel earrings, but I might see a pair that I like. And that's what I end up getting. What were your reservations, if any, about starting to sell in a niche that this is what you were going to face?
None. I had no reservations.
Well,
because I have a full-time job already. We're doing fine, and I just was having fun with it. I had no intent to I don't know. I was pouring my heart and soul into it, but I've been doing that with my paintings forever. And I just felt like I was shifting that to my earrings, and my community here, like I just only really showed my community here, my paintings. I've never really thought to branch out. And I kind of decided the opposite. I would start with my earrings and start big and in a big competitive place like Etsy. But I just really wanted to share my work with an expanse of earring lovers. And I knew that there's possibility someone might find me and then be someone that comes back frequently to find, pick up a new pair every couple of months or something. And that was exciting to me, to find out the relationships that I could find and the connections and the loyalty that could start. And I found that. I found, a handful of people that keep coming back, and I see their name pop up when I hear the Etsy notification that I have a sale, and I'm like again, but I get a big smile on my face because I'm like, that's awesome. That is, they're loving it, and I'm not doing anything more than sending them their earrings and sending them a sweet note and then following up, and like I'm doing what I love, and they're finding a love in my work, and that's what I've always wanted. So,
do you do any type of relationship marketing? And by that I mean, do you have an email list where you just keep people updated on what you're doing, not necessarily to always sell, but just to keep people in your community? it sounds like people are just sticking around anyway, or coming back anyway.
Yeah, they are. And I have a build up for a list to go for a newsletter. I haven't done it yet. I'm still in the birth stage of this whole process.
Yeah.
And I don't send emails, but a lot of the people that have gotten on my, newsletter list are following me on Instagram. So they're finding their way back to my profile and finding, the updates, and then getting excited all over again and sending me a comment or a message, and connecting that way. Yeah. So I haven't gotten to the email, correspondence or newsletter yet. Okay. And I don't know when I'll get there, just because I found this rhythm of making and posting, or listing and posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have the energy yet to rope in the newsletter, and just because I'm on this kind of cycle that keeps going and going.
Yeah.
I had intentions to do it for over Thanksgiving break, when I had a break from school, and then I had intentions to do it over Christmas break from school, but it didn't happen. And I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of other responsibility yet. Because in addition to Etsy, I also have I have my website, which I started just early in the summer. And then I have a couple wholesale
clients.
Yeah, that's a good word. I have a couple wholesale clients out there, and then I have another platform that I have stuff listed, some earrings listed on.
So you have a lot going on, essentially. Is what you're saying.
I think it's a lot, and I feel like that's enough that I can handle right now.
Yeah.
But I know that a newsletter is simply something, connecting and updating, and just saying, you can find these here if you're interested, and here's an update in my shop. And I know it's something as simple as what I'm already doing on Instagram, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Oh no, and it is an undertaking, I understand, because it's one more thing to divide your time into. And yes, it's beneficial in its own right, but again, like you said, you have a system that's working for you now, and I guess once it becomes like this well-oiled machine, and you feel comfortable branching out, because what I've seen happen a lot is, before a seller is ready to really add on the next ball in the air, they do that, and then things start dropping, or you're not as efficient at the other things that you were before, and so something suffers if additional tasks are introduced too early. So I think you have it right. The way you're doing it.
I don't know if I do, but I know that there's the summertime was a big thing for me, and COVID really shut a lot of things down, and that completely canceled our summer plans to go back east to go see my family, which we normally do. So I had the whole summer off, and I decided I'm going to build my website. I'm going to just keep up with the Instagram, and I'm going to join the local market here, which ended up being online this year. And I just really, really worked at it, and kind of built up that well-oiled process for those couple of extras, because I had the summer off. I did put the kids in daycare for 3 days a week, just so I can focus and really, really connect with where I wanted, the direction I wanted to go with my jewelry. In addition to that, I did actually do over the summer, I did a couple of Facebook Live sessions with art teachers around the world. And I let them, it was pretty much a live in my studio event. And I sent an announcement out on some teacher Facebook pages, and just said, if you're interested in seeing the enameling process, I'm going to do it on this day, this time, Alaska time. And if you're interested in the process, come on, and watch.
How did that turn out?
That turned out really good. I had a lot of, there were people from around the world. So some people were like, oh, it's midnight my time. I'm watching, but I'm going to be falling asleep. Can I watch it again? Can I keep up and watch it again tomorrow because I'm falling asleep? So it was really good. I still have some teachers trickling in and messaging me and just saying, we're finally doing it. We're going to bring enameling into jewelry. Can you refresh me on some of the supplies and the resources?
Nice.
And I just shell it out because it's been such a success in my classroom, and because it's been so exciting and new to me as an artist. I really wanted to let teachers know that it's not scary. It's if you already teach jewelry and you already use a torch in your classroom, this is actually really an easy thing to adapt. Right. And I was very timid about the idea of enameling before I knew the supplies and the process, and someone was there to walk me through it. I was very timid about it, and I didn't think it was something for my classroom. So I never really, again, I just didn't think it was for me or for my kids. So I shared that, and that's what I was doing. I was like, you can do this in your room, and this is how it happens, and these are the materials, and go for it. Try it out on your own. The supplies, a lot of the supplies you can find in your garage, and that's a really neat thing. It's really easy to pull everything together to do it.
So you've become the enameling evangelist.
I think so. Yeah. And I give all my credit to Silvera Jewelry School down in Berkeley. Okay. They're really awesome down there.
I will find a link to, I'm sure they're on the web, so I'll look them up and then I'll put a link to their website. So if anyone else is interested in checking them out, they'll be able to do so. Also, if you're interested in looking up Ashley's website or her shop, I meant to say this earlier, the Rosie Finn is Finn with 2 N's, and her website is therosiefinn.com. Again, Finn has 2 N's in it. Mm-hmm. So Ashley, you built I'm looking at your website now, and I can see that you built it on Shopify.
Yes, I did.
What was that process like, and how much effort and time does it take driving traffic to that, or do you not focus too much on that right now?
It took a ton of energy, switching from something like Etsy, which is really a plug and play, really wonderful way to start up. So Etsy was kind of like the springboard. I could see around summertime, when sales started picking up, because I spent more time at everything, all the pieces to selling and making. I put more time and effort into it. I could see that I had some people returning and buying, coming around for a second round or a third round. And I was
on Etsy or at therosiefinn.com.
Oh, on Etsy.
Okay.
So that inspired me. And also I talked to, through a artist talk on Silvera, some suggestion there was, Etsy's a great place. And if you really feel good about your work and you have some returning, it might be worth your time to go ahead and start a Shopify to build your brand, a way to build your brand and to separate, to stand on your own feet, I guess you can say. Right. And then, so it took a lot of energy, watching YouTube and talking to other jewelry artists and just kind of getting a little bit of information and steps from different places, and then figuring it out to become like, okay, it's a website. I just need to go here, and then there, and then check it there, and then look on my phone to make sure the layout looked fine on my phone versus the laptop. Yeah. It was a lot of educating myself over the summer, and I had the time because I wasn't traveling, and I had the time because I wasn't teaching. So I don't know how many hours I put into it, but the pictures, I wanted them to look pretty uniform.
Yeah, there's a trick to that too.
I really put a lot of energy into it, and I had the time in the summer, and now I don't. So like the new stuff I'm posting, you can kind of see, it wasn't like that sunshiny day picture. It's kind of more indoors and like, yeah. So it's kind of like, it took a lot of energy and a lot of research and educating myself. And it's just a nice platform to find, like, I don't know. It's hard to say like what goes on Etsy and what goes on my website, but I'm trying to find like a consistent collection to put on my website versus Etsy's like, I'm just letting my heart be free and like what's coming to mind and what I think I'm only one of a kind of on my, anyway, I'm still developing a lot of thoughts around what's going to go where.
So you don't sell the same jewelry on both sites?
No, and I don't know if there's like is that ethical to just put it on both? I don't know. I guess they're.
Oh, Ashley, yes, these are your creations.
But well, I mean, like if I have it on Etsy and it's like free shipping, and then on my website it's like shipping's $2.99. Like there's some things I'm like there's a crossover where I'm like, well, and then I have anyway, like I haven't quite figured out Shopify all the way to know like how to have sales and how to give, credits or whatever. Whereas I just feel like I'm more versed with Etsy. So I can be more slick and move forward and throw a sale in there. And I don't really know that with Shopify quite yet. And the traffic, I get a lot of traffic to Etsy, but then it's my efforts to bring the traffic to Shopify. My shop.
Yep.
And so it's not there yet. The traffic to my website is not definitely not at the same level as Etsy yet. So I want to keep them separate. I want to feel like they're two separate shops, not the same earrings, the same style for sure, but different kind of separate.
And it's through Shopify that you have your wholesale customers, right?
No. I have my wholesale people have gotten a hold of me in different ways, like on Instagram or on Etsy or on Facebook. People have reached out and said, "Hey, I saw your work. Do you do wholesale, and can you show me like what's available?" So I do wholesale up in Talkeetna, Alaska. There's a shop that's branched with the Denali Brewing Company, which is really cool because I don't know, the brewing company, I like beer, so it kind of has that connection. Okay. And then I have some in Ketchikan at the Scanlon Gallery there. That's in Ketchikan. And then in Homer at the Art Shop Gallery in Homer, Alaska. So there's 3 spots there. And then in my town here, I have, I guess you wouldn't call it wholesale, but we kind of work on consignment at the Classa Museum here in town. And then there's an online boutique on an island just west of Seattle. Oh, wow. And she has an online boutique, and she's got my work there that kind of like feeds a lot of the island folk down and off the islands of Seattle. So, yeah. And so again, I feel like I like that. I like the fact that, it's another way of advertising and also knowing people believe in your work. There's people that have been running their own well-oiled machine for a long time, and they see that they want to put your stuff connecting in their shop and in their website or wherever they show. And then it's just been a really nice eye-opening, like, wow, this is something people are believing in, and it's really exciting. And again, that really only started in the summer of 2020. Like, I started getting that momentum and that time, and that like the cycle was really starting to turn for me. So it was fun to see.
Speaking about time, so I'm still trying to get over the fact that when you were expecting your second, you thought you would be bored and needed something to do. Let's talk about how you manage your time now, because you're a mom, you're still working full time, and your husband isn't always around because of the nature of his work. So what does a typical day look like for you, and how do you manage your time and still try to stay productive but accomplish all you need to?
I have to, and I'm just I've forever been an artist, and I need my time to create. And it's been, since COVID has been affecting everybody's lives, and travel has ceased, and like gatherings have not been happening. It's been my comfort zone for sure, and it always has been, but it really is amplified since March. Like that need to go escape and be making and producing, and then from there connecting with other people through my art. So I wake up at 5. I wake up at 5 and I start doing a little bit of social networking for like a half an hour and get myself set up for enameling. So I have all my enamel blanks kind of in like a tin. So set aside within my supplies. I pull it out and I figure out what I'll be making. Sometimes I already know and I have it set out the night before. But I'll clean the metal and then head down to my studio, which is actually just under the house in a shop. So I go down there and I set up and I enamel for an hour and a half. And I also fit in a little dog walk because we have a dog. So I'll walk Rita, the dog, and then come back to the house and then have the clean metal ready to go grab and go downstairs. And because I'm under the shop, I can hear if the kids wake up.
Yeah.
So, and I'm upstairs by 7 because they need to get up and get ready and go. And we all need to be in go mode by 7 to be out the door by 7:30 or 7:40. So, I give myself, an hour and a half, 2 hours to be kind of floating around in my own artist brain and like focus on what I want to tackle for an hour or two. And then by 7 o'clock, I flip to, my real life, my immediate, what's going on right now life. So I have kids and I have a job, and my husband is a fisherman. So he's gone chunks of the time of the year. So sometimes it's just me taking it all on at the house and with the kids. So then, we're out the door by 7:30, drop Finny off at the daycare, and Rosie goes to school with me, and then she walks to school, and the schools are all connected pretty much. So I'm at the high school, and then she has her little group that she walks to school with. So I kiss her goodbye and she takes a walk to the elementary school. And then I'm at school till 3:45. And then the beauty of the afternoon is that my kids are in their afternoon daycare and after school program until 5:15. So 3:45 to 5 is me time again. So I get to zip home and finish my enameling project, pack up some orders, correspond on some emails. And then before I pick the kids up, I pack I pack up the orders and have them ready to go to the mail, and I'll drop them off before I pick the kids up, and then I go get the kids and then come back. And then, when they go to bed, if I feel like I have the energy, I'll go back down and work. But I'm really a morning person. I discovered that like with a fresh mind, I can really get some stuff done. And then my kids, we lay in bed and we'll read, a couple of books, and then they just, it's hard to say goodnight to them if they want to snuggle with me for a little bit more. So sometimes I just melt into that and just fall asleep with them. But then 5 o'clock, if I go to bed early with them, it doesn't matter if I'm waking up at 5 anyway. So that's my typical day.
Well, how does it change when your husband is home? Do you do more making or more admin? What? Yeah.
I don't think it changes too much, because I want to spend time with him, and he's, we like to play cards or play dice or watch a movie or a show. So that's nighttime stuff for us. So my schedule doesn't really change too much, and he's very understanding and very supportive. And he's a very good cook, and he's a very good father. And he fixes things, and he's really wonderful. So when he's home, I can lay off some of the responsibilities with the kids, like getting their bags packed and their jackets on, and he's there ready to get them all ready to go anyway, if he's home. So probably more of the domestic at home things he's there for, which I really do appreciate. Yeah.
Well, that helps.
Yes.
So back to the products that you make. One of the things that stands out to me is that you mentioned you have repeat customers. Do you think it has anything to do with um, the customer service you provide, or the packaging? Like, do you include marketing materials so they remember who to go back to? Because I know that's one of the problems sometimes on Etsy is people don't always remember where they bought something. They just know they got it on Etsy, but not necessarily from whom they bought it. So how do you keep yourself top of mind in your customers' minds?
I like to think it's just my jewelry. But I do consider, packaging. I I like jewelry. I like ordering jewelry, and I always feel bad when I have something like comes in a beautiful box and like a beautiful, I don't know, cushioning in there that I know is not going to be used for anything else. Um, so I kind of keep to the eco-friendly side. I like to think that I am upcycling some materials and
Mm.
thinking about where it's going to go when it's done. Because when I put on a pair of earrings, or if I get a ring or something, I kind of toss the box aside, thinking I want to use it for something else, and sometimes it doesn't get used for anything else. So I want to consider that, like, if I'm sending earrings to someone, they're probably not going to like hold on for dear life to that box that they got it in. They're going to throw it out. So I think about that. And the local gallery in town here who does framing, they end up with a bunch of cardstock, beautiful arrangement of color
Mm.
cardstock that is the right size for me. So it's like 8 by 10 pieces of cardstock that you know, they ask me because I'm the local art teacher, do you want it? And I say yes every time. And then now I've confessed to them, I actually want it for my classroom, but I also want it for packing.
Yeah.
And they said that's really fine. It sits around and would end up in the garbage anyway if you didn't want it. So I take their garbage and I use that. And it's just a beautiful cardstock arrangement of color, and it's heavy duty. I fold it in half to make like this big envelope size sandwich. And I bubble wrap with bubble wrap that I've got from other orders, copper blanks, enamels, and
Mm-hmm.
hoops, and earring hooks that I order come to me, and I keep all that bubble wrap, all the cushioning stuff, and then that's what I use to wrap my jewelry.
Okay.
I put it on a card, and I order my cards, and I have a stamp that I just put my logo on. But the bags, I like the clear plastic bags because I live in a rainforest and I know if things get wet, it's not pretty.
Yeah.
So the bags are eco-friendly, biodegradable, and I get them from, I think they're called Eco Clear. And then my packaging tape is biodegradable. So and then I wrap it all up in craft paper, in the brown craft paper. So it's either upcycled materials or it's eco-friendly materials sending out to people that have made an order. So I really I like the thought that people might admire that and appreciate
Yeah.
that when they're ordering and they get it.
Yeah. And I know there's a certain segment of the population that looks out for that too. They want to buy responsibly. Have you found that it's more expensive to buy the eco-friendly packaging, the ones that you do end up buying?
I have never ventured to look to see. I'm sure it is more expensive, but then I'm upcycling all the other stuff, so it
Yeah.
probably would,
I feel
end
like it
up
would
out in the
balance out.
wash. It would wash over anyway because
Yeah.
I'm not paying for the other materials. So,
Yeah.
and I just we live by the water. My husband's a fisherman, and we do respect we want to make sure what goes out is not going to harm. So we do consider that and think about that. And because we really do love the island here and the beautiful mountains and the snow and the water and the whales and the creatures. And we think about those pieces of our life. And I want people to think that I'm thinking about that too, but also, it's just, I just know it's not going to end up anyway. Most of the time it's just going to end up in the garbage anyway. It doesn't matter, if it's this beautiful glossy silver box that's made of cardboard, or if it's, a upcycled piece. So I know it's just going to be sitting around or going in the garbage. So I want to think about that for those people that are placing that order. Yeah. It's okay. You should feel comfortable throwing that in the garbage now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, that makes perfect sense. And you're so close to that. So it's understandable why it's a major point for you in your business.
Yeah.
Speaking about pricing, so I have a couple of questions. One has to do with inventory. How do you determine or decide what inventory you're going to keep on hand, if any, and how much to keep on hand?
I like hoops. If you look at my jewelry, I like to add some like maybe up to 3 hoops with one partnered with a piece of enamel that I've created. So I like to keep up with my hoop supplies and my hypoallergenic earring hooks. But I don't do I have a couple pieces that I'll gladly repeat over and over again because they're popular and people are liking them and I like them too. But most of the time I'm just like, okay, I have, 6 of these blanks left. I'll just offer one of a kind. So it's more like I have one of a kinds a lot.
Okay.
So I don't need to think of the 2 months from now when I'm I don't need to think about repeating things too much unless I have something that I'm offering to be repeated. Unless people they reach out to me and they would make a request for a custom pair and they say, I really like that crescent moon shape. And I might have to apologize and say, I don't have that anymore. I'll place an order or I'll cut it out. Sometimes I have big pieces of copper sheets that I can mock up and try to replicate a shape. So I just kind of see what gets used a lot, and I have them kind of nestled in toolboxes and little caboodles or whatever where I open them and I have them organized so I can see if something's getting low, and I just go back on Etsy, or usually is where I'm getting things, and I'll just do a repeat order. I guess everything's still kind of, I don't know, one of a kind and small. Okay. And small, I don't need 100 of something. I'll get 20 of something and then I'll use it here and there. Yeah.
One of the things I found interesting that you do, or you said in your announcement, is you ask people or you tell people if they see anything in your sold items that they would like, they can reach out to you and request that, and you'll let them know if you're able to make it again or replicate it, which I thought was really interesting because I hear from other sellers quite the opposite. They don't want you're thinking about your customers, but some other sellers don't want the competition knowing what their bestsellers are. So they block people from being able to see what has sold and what hasn't. But in your case, I don't think that's even an issue because one, I mean, to copy your designs would be almost crazy to think of that as an undertaking. And two, it just opens up the door for more sales for you because, if someone is perusing and they don't see anything in the store right now that jumps out at them, but something in your sold items, that's a sale that you probably wouldn't have gotten if they hadn't been able to see that you could do this.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that in a while, but I did hear that like in my passings of my Etsy educating on YouTube. Like don't like you have a choice to either hide the sold items or keep them revealed. And I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that I don't know. I have a mixed feeling. Yeah, I don't want someone replicating, but you know what? I don't know if they did. They could. I'm so my mind of trying something new is so like immediate. Like I have new ideas every day, and like I don't feel like I don't feel like if somebody was replicating, it wouldn't bother me that much anyway, because I like sharing the education of the process anyway.
Yeah.
And I also like showing my work. And if I don't want to hide that because there's such a great variety. I feel like I have a vast variety of design, and I don't want that, what's available to be the only option to be looking at. I like the idea of opening it up, and I like communicating. I like when people are reaching out and starting that conversation. And I like that kind of connection where we can kind of talk back and forth and have options. And I think that just makes Etsy feel more real too. It just feels like there is a person behind there, and there is a conversation that can be had.
Yeah.
And as a customer, you are being heard. And I like being that kind of, I don't know, shop, so to say.
Yeah. Oh no, that makes perfect sense. And
yeah.
I think that's part of the reason people do come to Etsy. And especially if you see the ads that Etsy is running now, I think that's one of the things they're trying to point out is that there are people behind the shops. And so it does help if people come and can make a connection with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say is something that you're doing now in your Etsy shop, running your business, that you think is working really well for you?
I like to fill as many pictures as I can. And I think what works well for me is when I do fill all the pictures, I include 3 to 4 process pictures. So the actual piece that people are going to be buying, they get to see some of the steps. I think that really works and really hones in on the handmade and the also hints to the process. When you think of enameling, and if you don't have the education about it, you might be like, what? No clue about it, but then you see it through images, and I think it really kind of starts to connect for people, and they might, they get to see the passion, and they also get to see in addition to the process, like there's a love, even with the steps, there as an artist, there's some moments that are so beautiful that it's not even a finished product. It's still in the process. There's some colors and the way that the enamel falls, and it's so messy, but it's so beautiful. And then it turns into this like just slick, finished, polished, ready to go, durable, wearable, lightweight. Like it's just all these things, but then you get to see it. I think that actually is something that is really a nice feature that I try to consider to include for viewers to see and for people interested in my work. Yeah.
Do you now include videos in your listings now that Etsy has opened that up?
Ijama, that's a tough question. I did that all summer. Well, I did it all summer, and I think Etsy is thinking about transferring it over so people on their iPhone can upload video, because I can't take a video and upload it right away. I have to airdrop it to my computer, and then from there find the download and then add it to a listing that I've already listed.
Yeah,
it's just like
tedious.
two more extra steps. And I honestly, I can't say that I've seen an increase, and I haven't done videos in a while because we've had rainy, like overcast, dark days, and I live in Alaska, so we don't get a lot of light I'm working in the early mornings, I'm working at late at night, so I don't get light now when I'm trying to I take indoor shots because the outside light is not good. So I like the natural lighting for the videos. It just makes everything sparkle and look pretty. Yeah. I haven't seen a bump increase in orders because of the videos and because it's a couple of extra steps. I haven't been doing it in a couple of months, but you'll see of my listings, probably half of what I have listed have video, and the other half don't. So I was on the track of getting them all. I had them all videoed up, and then I was like, I don't know if this is, there's some days where I'm just taking some pictures and want to upload them on my phone because got 10 minutes before I have to go pick up one of my kids or whatever. I don't have time to go grab it and put it on my computer to upload it.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of fell out of the habit, and it just takes, it's like 5 to 10 more minutes of my time. And I just shaved that one off my list to do because I didn't see an increase. And if Etsy does end up having an option to upload from your iPhone, I don't think they have it now yet, but I would do it if it was something I can upload from my phone.
Yeah, that was my feedback too. For when they first came out, there was a prototype team, and my feedback was it's tedious. It's a nice to have right now, and I know that sellers can get really creative with it, but it's so tedious to have to record with your phone, have the Etsy app, but not be able to upload the picture into the app, and then upload it or airdrop it somewhere, then go onto your computer and do all that. So that's my hope, is that they'll do that. But I did see a YouTube video, and I wish I could remember who it was. That's the downside of learning stuff from YouTube, is you don't always remember who you learned it from. But somebody figured out a way to
to get it from your phone on. Okay.
Yes, and I'll tell you now, and for anybody else who is interested in hearing, if you haven't seen that YouTube video, which if the person who did it hears this, I don't even know if they listen. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you credit, but I'm taking no credit for this. I got it from somebody else. So what you do is log into your Etsy account on your phone. And when you're logged in on your phone, not through the app, you can upload the video directly from your phone into your listing because you're logged in one of your browser windows, not the app. It works as if you're on a computer. Does that make sense?
So on the app?
No, not on the app.
So you have to log.
So open a browser window, like you're going to the internet, and log into your Etsy account. Yes, and then that way, when you go into your listing, you'll be doing it in a browser window. You can pull the when you go to add a video, it will let you select a video from your photos. So
I will try that.
Yes, I did. It works.
Thank you. That's a great tip.
Thank you to that person. I don't know you, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm taking your idea and sharing it, but somebody else figured it out, not me. And I'm hoping that they eventually will make it so that the app is able to do that, because it would make it so much easier.
Yes. Well, thank you to whoever out there uploaded that video on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Thank you. Very cool.
What would you tell someone who is kind of in the beginning stages, say where you were about a year ago, and something you've learned along the way? What lesson can you pass on to that seller who, it's now 2021 and they're starting their journey as well? What's something you can tell that person to just help them along?
Listen to your podcast, Ijama. Etsy Conversations. I'm serious. I've learned and picked up like little tips. Even like I thought that I have to seek out all the jewelry videos which I did in the beginning. I was scrolling to find all the jewelry videos, and then I started branching out and like listening to other things that caught my eye, and I was like, there's so much stuff to pick up off of your podcasts. I'm serious.
Thank you.
That's a great place to just kind of sit and listen and pick up things. Yes, that's one resource right there. You are. And then I would say just make sure you're using all like the pictures, so you can have up to 10. So don't just list one or two, list all your pictures you can possibly add. And my preference is adding that process because I think it makes it all tie together. Like seeing the behind the scenes, I think is totally worth adding. And for me, it's not more time necessarily. It doesn't really, because I'll just snap a picture as I'm working. I could be torching something and have my phone in the other hand and take a video or take a picture. So I think it's worth it to include the process, using all your tag words. So really reaching for different tag words, which I need to work on myself. But just thinking of any descriptive word to add into the tag list. Your border and your logo, I think those things need to be included. A little bit about you. Yeah, just kind of visiting all of the little spots of Etsy and making sure you can fill it in some kind of way. Yeah. I think that would be a good start. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ashley. That is very helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are there any tools or resources other than the podcast? Any tools that you found particularly helpful to you?
I really I find myself visiting the dashboard a lot and just kind of looking at yesterday and then today. And I'm still, maybe you can answer this for me, Ijama. I'm the views versus visits. I've scratched my head for a while on that, and I'll give you my answer because what I keep gathering and thinking I understand is, and again, that's in dashboard. I like to see the views and the visits, and then of course the orders. I like to see that. But what's the difference between the views? So the views are always like a bigger number than the visits, and in the views it might say 36. And the visits, it might say like 18. So of the 36 views, there were 18 direct visits to certain items, listings. Is that correct?
Wait, of the visits? No, so now I'm confused.
So the difference between the views on your dashboard, when you're looking at your dashboard and you have views and visits, if there's, let's put numbers here. So if there's 36 views and 18 visits.
Okay.
How does someone read that?
So the views are the number of times people looked at your listings. And then the visits are the number of people who came to your shop or one of your listings.
One of my listings. Okay.
Yeah. So the views pertain just to a listing. So if you're looking at views, then it's telling you how many times people looked at that listing. And one person could have looked at it multiple times.
If I'm on the dashboard, does it just wrap everything up? How many times someone's looked? If so, on my dashboard it'll say 36 and then 18 for visits.
Okay.
So
the summary numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a combination. You can drill down to each independent listing, but in that overview, it's a combination. So it's the sum of the number of times people looked at all your listings, maybe not every single listing, but within that time period, all the listings that were looked at, the number of times people looked at those listings.
Okay.
And the visits are the number of people who either came to your shop or landed on one of your listings. So okay, give me the numbers again. Let me
Okay.
repeat it with the numbers.
Okay, so if I had 36 views.
Okay, so 36 views means in whatever time span your dashboard is set to.
Yeah.
People looked at a number of your listings, and you have to drill down to see exactly which ones they looked at if you go into the details page. But a certain number of your listings, people looked at them a total of 36 times. Now, one person could have come back and look at the same listing within that period of time more than once. Those will count for multiple times. But altogether, the listings that were looked at in your shop during that period of time that this stats snapshot is showing you was 36. And then what was your visits?
18. Let's
so
say
then
18.
that means 18 people, individual people, came to either your shop somehow or one of your listings or multiple of your listings.
So do they worked, those two views and listings work together, or are they separate?
They're separate.
Oh, I thought they worked together. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's confusing. I hope
I like
that makes
looking
sense.
at them.
Does it
I
make
like
sense?
looking at them.
Yeah.
I'm always like, well, I had, 50 or whatever. I had 50 visits yesterday and 40 visits this day. Something happened on that day prior that was good, that got me an extra 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
I like looking at them. It's just stats,
Think of visits as visitors.
Okay.
So a visit is a person who did something in your shop.
Okay.
But then a view is all the things they did in your shop. Does that make it worse or better? I don't even know if I've confused you more.
I don't know. You can cut that out if you want.
Okay. Maybe it will help someone.
Yeah,
hopefully.
maybe.
Do you have an Etsy shop shout out? This could be another seller or a store that you like to shop at. And if you don't, that's okay.
Yeah, I do. I have a friend down in California, and we only became friends because of, Instagram and then on Etsy. And her name is Anastasia, and she has this patinaed copper work, and the greens and the blues are very Caribbean. And she speaks of those, island places when she's describing them. Anyway, her work, Aeneas Isles is her Etsy, ANAISISIES. And it's just breathtakingly, if you like turquoise and you like Caribbean blues or phthalo blues, you're going to fall in love with her work. And it's all hand done. Anyway, she's a friend of mine just through Etsy. I've got 3 of her earrings, and we kind of go back and forth sometimes. I just really admire her craftsmanship and the color. She just always seems to find the sunshine, and there's like something, there's a lot of island vibe from her jewelry. Yeah.
Can you spell it again, please? Is it I found it. ANAISISLS. Aeneas Isles. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Aeneas Isles. Yeah.
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 Oh, great. I see what you're saying. Yes, it's very beachy.
But her turquoises and her, the aquas, the blues are just, they're unmatchable. They're just so beautiful.
Nice. And you met through Instagram?
We met through Instagram. We just friended each other, and then she complimented a pair of that I made in the spring that were definitely like her colors. It was like this rich turquoise, And she was like, oh, I like those. And then I was like, oh, who are you? And then I looked at hers and I was like, oh, I like yours. And then we just went back and forth. And then I ordered a pair and she ordered a pair. I don't remember the order, but order of things. But we just kind of, we start and we'll connect, we'll message each other and check in on each other and see how things are going. She's in California and I'm up here. So yeah, she's just been like this sweet connection. You always have, I've noticed that I can make these wonderful connections on Instagram, and I have over, the past year, and she's one of them, and it's been really nice.
Wonderful. I like that. That's you. That's one of the things you just can't beat on Etsy. I will link to Anastasi's Etsy shop for anyone who wants to check her out. Please go check her out. See what she's doing and let her know that Ashley sent you. Ashley, what's the best way folks can connect with you if they want to carry on this conversation?
On Instagram for sure. So that's just the Rosie Finn on Instagram. And then there's a contact, on Etsy. If you want to contact me, you can do it there. That works pretty well too. And then through my shop. So there's a contact option on the rosiefinn.com.
Okay. All right. So I will have links to everywhere that you can connect with Ashley. And they will be in the show notes for this episode. Ashley, thank you so much. I have enjoyed talking with you and just getting to know what you're doing. And thank you for sharing how you're juggling life, because I think that's going to be encouraging to, another seller who is listening that's juggling it and feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed. It's doable, and it sounds like you have a good routine in place. So I know that will help someone.
Thank you, Ijama, so much.
You are welcome. And I thank you for listening to the podcast. If you want to connect with me, you can go to convo.me.com. There's a contact form there. There's also the Be My Guest form if you want to be on the podcast. And if you want to send me a quick chat, on Instagram is probably the fastest way at Etsy Conversations. Also, we were talking earlier, Ashley and I, about how she got set up on Shopify. By the time you hear this podcast, you will be able to get hold of my Etsy to Shopify migration checklist that helps you get set up without all the angst and the head banging. It's an interactive, actionable checklist. It's not a course. It walks you step by step with what you need to do at every stage and with instructions to do them so that you're just moving forward. And you can go to convo.me.com under the services page and you'll see it right there. Thanks again for listening to the podcast, and I will be back with another episode next week.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convo.me.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.